What's up, BC? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kieran. If you happen to be tuning in for the first time, welcome back. Everyone else. So last time I made a video, I believe, was when I got back from Boston visiting Dave, Record Bug, Wantless Records. So I came back with a stack there. If you didn't catch that video, of stuff that I'd been shipping to Boston, and then also stuff I shipped to Michigan to my cousin there. So all summer it's basically what I've been listening to. Still haven't filed basically any of those records away. Been cleaning them. Got almost cleaned all of them, but not even all of them. And I have another stack here of stuff that I picked up on a trip. I went on a little just road trip with my girlfriend, visiting friend and family in Ontario. I also do have a bunch of stuff that I've picked up locally and stuff, so probably have to split this into two videos. But very chill Sunday morning here. I haven't listened to any of those records in quite a couple weeks, I guess, because I had actually intended to make this video. So I had, things kind of get all mixed together here, and I had separated them all in this little area to make the video, and then didn't have time, and they haven't moved, so I've been listening to all that other stuff on the daily. But I did want to, before I start moving these around again, kind of just show you what I picked up. So this I just picked up this week, actually. I just listened to this 2 nights ago. I'm spinning again, Nat Birchall Unity Ensemble. This came out, was it last year? Yeah, so it was recorded November in 2021. I'm not sure when it was actually released, but it never showed up in the shops until now. I asked the local shop to see if they could get it in. There's also a repress of Mysticism of Sound, his Sun Ra tribute. I'm very fond of all of Nat Birchall's work, although there's a lot of it coming out. He has Afro Train, which is available, I think, now, and then another one, I can't remember what it's called now, but there's Ancient Africa, maybe even another one. Anyway, all this stuff is very enjoyable. This one is called Nat Birchall Unity Ensemble Spiritual Progressions. It's just really perfect for this, like a Sunday morning, gloomy, if you want to be kind of in a reflective mood. Anyway, let's get into it. We're already 3 minutes in, haven't shown you a record. So, first stop is Henry's Records, shop I'd never heard of, in Scarborough, Ontario. So we're headed to Toronto area. Really, really nice man. Really cool shop to dig in. Prices were a little high, I guess, but he was such a nice man. Found a couple things that I wanted to buy something and support. There's a record, an artist I didn't know, which I'm sure many of you are probably not familiar with. If you're, a reggae expert, maybe Doug, you're familiar with George Nukes. This album is called Today. Recorded at Joe Gibbs and Channel One. This is distributed in Canada. So I believe there's another cover of this. Maybe it's a Jamaican pressing. I haven't even spun this yet, but when I sampled it online, it sounded nice. So this is what I grabbed, and then I also ended up grabbing this before leaving. It was a bit of an odd record. Soul record, introducing Roscoe Anderson. I believe that's the font. Rochelle Anderson. Cool cover. Very kind of unique sounding soul record, a little oddball, different. His voice is definitely different. I need to give this some more time to see if I really like it or not, but I thought it was something I'd never seen, and you can get it online. I think there was a bunch of sealed copies. I don't think it's, hard to get, but not something that you're going to see often in the shops, probably. How am I going to organize myself here? Okay, so that was the first stop on the way. What do we got? Sonic Boom. I'll kind of have them sorted by shops here, although I don't have the Mississauga finds here, or maybe I didn't get anything. I was visiting my friend in Mississauga and visited a couple shops there. I did buy one record in Mississauga. Shops were better than I expected, but it was something for a friend. So I grabbed this, Woody Shaw, Little Red's Fantasy, Ronnie Matthews, Stafford James, Eddie Moore, Frank Strozier, 1978, Muse, one I had, kind of just assumed I'd find one day as a cheap record. Obviously it's a bit more than it used to be, but still cheap, but not like $5-10 anymore. So look forward to digging into that. This is one that I really don't see posted, never seen anyone talk about it or share. I mean, often anyways. Cedar Walton, so I don't think this is a very common record. Not crazy rare. It's on Prestige, called Soul Cycle. James Moody, Rudy Stevenson, Reggie Workman, Al Tootie Heath from the early 70s, I believe. This was okay. I listened to it. It was nice, but not like essential or mind-blowing. But I grabbed that at Cops Records, which was my first time visiting their new location. From there, this is all on foot in Toronto, basically. I was staying at my uncle's, and my girlfriend and I just did like a few hours of walking, and we went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 shops, if not more, and there was one that was closed, just in the kind of like radius around my uncle's, which was crazy. There's just so many. Popped into Cosmos, haven't been there in years. It was a little weird. A lot of the bins in the jazz shop were empty. There was boxes everywhere. For a shop that's like kind of a premium boutique-y shop, it was a little weird. I mean, it's always been a little messy in there, but this was just a little strange how, for the prices he pays and the boutique-y vibe, it's not, you'd think it would be like clean and well kept, but it's kind of, it looked like it was in transition. But anyway, I ended up buying a record. I don't usually buy anything there because the prices are just absurd, but I like collecting these Why Not Trio records. Japanese label. This is Triangle, Joseph Bonner featuring Clint Houston and Billy Hart. Just turn this down a bit. And this is a really nice record. When you're buying it, this one is a Japanese press, so Japanese record. If I'm gonna buy this, it's probably gonna be online with a plane ticket from Japan, so it bumps the price up. They don't pop up too often in North America, but buying at Cosmos, it's basically as if I just bought it from online, and with the shipping, it might have even been cheaper, but anyway. Bought that one. Then, so that was Sonic Boom, Cops, She Said Boom, I think is this. It's a little like bookstore, record store, really right around the corner from where my aunt and uncle live. And I was really happy to find this. Archie Shep. Is it Myanmar? Mariamar. This is on Horo Records. You don't see those too often in North America. I mean, you see them, but it's not common. So, and he's playing here with some Italian musicians. I also grabbed this, which is not a record I was familiar with, but I asked I'm assuming the owner at the cash, I was like, oh, you have any other jazz? And this was actually visible to me, but because I wasn't familiar with it, it didn't really catch my eye. But this is Green Line. This is a killer fusion record. Also Japanese press. I think there's also a European press of this, if I'm not mistaken, but this is Sonny Chirac, Miroslav Vitas, Steve Marcus, and Daniel Humer, who I'm not familiar with, but this is just like a smoking live set fusion, jazz fusion. If that's your thing, definitely worth checking out. So that was Toronto. Then on the way back, our schedule was such that we kind of like, because my girlfriend was working, she had calls, we had to like stop at a cafe, so I was like, okay, we'll go to Kingston, but we had time to kill you know, we were going to be there too early for a call. So it was like, I remember there being a record store in Belleville, which is this little town. And as I'm driving, I'm like, how far off the highway is this? And it turns out that it was literally like a get off the highway, go down the street, it's right there, get back on the highway. So I was like, literally maybe like 2 kilometers from the exit, and decided to just whip off and stop at this shop that I had been to once, but not when I was driving on the highway. We were in another little town area on vacation, and it was raining, and we decided to do a little outing one day. This was last year, and found this little, it's a not a thrift shop, it's a pawn shop, but they have a little record section, and honestly it's really well curated. There's no junk in there. It's not like a thrift shop. And the prices are fair. It's like fair record store prices, but they don't put crap. They only, I guess, take good stuff. Not that it's all heat, but it's all, you know, decent condition and titles that people would want in the various genres. So I walk in, and right away I see this. They have a little, like, it's like 1 row of records, and on top there's a shelf, which is their little wall. And I was like, what? I'm like, what is that? And I look at it, and I'm like, hot damn, this is an original mono pressing. And I was kind of like distracted me from the records. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave that there for a second. I'm gonna go through the records. I didn't have a lot of time because we did have to keep going to get there for the call. And anyway, so I go through, and, you know, there was a couple things in there, but nothing, you know, I did pull out one of the records that I got. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, what do I do? Anyway, there's no listening station, so, and you know, with these prestige old records, I'm like, who knows what this is gonna sound like? Obviously it's not a cheap record. Anyway, so I asked the guy, he goes in the back, there's one guy, really nice guy, in charge of the records. He brings me in the back, plays it for me, and, you know, there's a bit of surface noise, but it plays super clean, just the kind of underlying light surface noise. And anyway, I ended up grabbing it, obviously. And when I got home, I was super happy with how it sounds. Actually, it's quite remarkable. And as you can see, cover super clean. In the front, it does have in the back a little bit of kind of moisture, moldy little marks there, and the cover is just, the front cover is perfectly straight, but the back is a little wavy. But as you can see, it presents, seams are, there's a little bit of wear there, but just perfectly intact. Just like corner dings, but honestly, really, really happy with this. This was the, you know, the find of the trip. I also grabbed this, which I have yet to listen to. Retta Hughes, Light My Fire. There's a soul record, but I think it's, who's on here? I think it's someone for the Doors, or doesn't list the artist, but yeah, when I listen to this, I'll research. But I know this is some record that had been recommended to me. I'd seen it once before and hadn't grabbed it, and I don't know if they just cover the Doors, or there's like some rock musicians on here, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, it doesn't say. Anyway, I'd seen it once before and didn't grab it, and then I'd seen it recommended again, and I was like, oh, if I ever see that again, I'll grab it. And it's a really, really clean copy and shrink. Anyway, long story short, not really. I got home, and I was like, man, there was this other record there that I was interested in, and I let it go because of buying the other stuff, the Coltrane, and I didn't have a lot of time, and I was like, whatever. When I got home, I'm like, hey, let me listen to that record. I'm probably never gonna see that again. And I was like, damn, this is a really, really cool record. So I write the guy, I had posted on Instagram, I posted and I tagged them, and then they reshared it, and someone else followed me, and I was like, this is the guy that works there. So I sent him a DM, and we start talking, and I'm like, look, this is the deal. I saw this record there. I'm interested. So anyway, we worked it out, gave me a little deal, shipped it to me for free. And this is Jay Mitchell, Your Mama, Your Daddy Again, Who's That in My Bed? And this is, believe, if I'm remembering correctly, from the Bahamas. And it is raw, funky soul. And this is on GBI recording. Yeah, here we go. Freeport, Bahamas, 1974. Killer. Really glad that I got this. Not something that was on my radar. I believe he has another record maybe that I'd added to my want list at some time, at some point. Anyway, this is really cool. So that little stop deemed to be very fruitful. Okay, what else? Then in Kingston, a little shop there, Something Else Records, which doesn't have a lot, but is a really nice shop. One of the nicest shops I've been to in terms of just the vibe that they've created in there and the aesthetic of the shop. I grabbed this, Earl Zero, Visions of Love. This has Soul Syndicate on it, the band, which I have another one of their records, Uptown Conversation. I can't remember exactly what the album's called, but I love that reggae record, very soulful, and so I grabbed this. Have yet to dig into that. Also grabbed this, another one that I wasn't familiar with, and it has some members of Parliament Funkadelic on it. I can't remember who exactly, but chairman of the board. This I'm In is the name of it. Skin I'm In. Really not good at reading these types. Look forward to digging into that one. Okay, so that was it for that trip. 2 days later, I was off for the week. I went to Ottawa with some friends here. And did the tour of Ottawa, found a few things. I won't go through, I'll just show you quickly. Mark Murphy, Bridging the Gap. This, I need to listen to some more, but my impression was, there's a time for this. The music itself is killer. Vocals, maybe not always in the mood for, but the music itself here is just really good. You have Randy Brecker, Mike Brecker, Ron Carter, Jimmy Madison, Sam Brown, Pat Rebiot, who I'm not familiar with. Found a copy of this, something I've seen posted. Jesse Davis, kind of like blues, rocky. Eric Clapton plays on here, Leon Russell. Whole bunch of musicians. I'll see if this is something I keep. I know it's a sought after record. Also grabbed a copy of this, Dreams, which I actually did enjoy. I think my friend was like, oh, grab this. This also has Michael Brecker and Randy Brecker, so 2 records with the Brecker brothers on it from this trip. And kind of fusion-y, but yeah, I actually enjoyed this. Did listen to that one. This I really enjoyed. This is from the Record Center. They had it posted online, not in their shop, which is too bad that when you go to a city to dig, you have to find their good records, you have to go online. I'm at the shop going on their website to buy, which I could have done from home, and then you're paying shipping, but it's kind of just, anyway. But they don't have them in the shop, kind of sucks, but anyway. This is, I get it, it's like 2 separate businesses, but they didn't have much good stuff in the shop. Riot Galaxy, Opus, Krampus. Really good Detroit free jazz, but with a solid groove to it. Farouk Zibay. Recommended. Grab this at Record Center too. So that's one side of the Nat Birchall we just did. Milt Jackson with the Ray Brown Big Band. Some nice soul jazz. Memphis Jackson on Impulse. One that I had never come across in person. Usually see this cover pretty worn. This one's pretty clean. So that was it for the Ottawa trip, just a few things. And then the Sunday, so this is 1 week later, was the Burlington Record Fair. I didn't think I was gonna go. And then my girlfriend the morning of was just like, let's go for a little day trip. I was like, I've bought enough records, as you clearly saw. But anyway, so I went in there, took out some cash, basically had like a little budget to go to the fair with, and that was that. And I walked in, I checked out one little, table in the front, And most of the table is like 2 little sections, the main section and then like a back area. And like everywhere was packed. Like it wasn't crazy, but it was hard to find the, you know, spot. So I just kind of walked to the back and there's a table with a little access point. So I go in and then basically I'd spent my budget in, you know, 5 minutes of being there. But anyway, I took time to go through all the records, but pretty much this was it. I grabbed another kind of, you know, not really actively seeking these 50s jazz titles, but when I find them in nice conditions for fair prices, it's hard to kind of pass up on. And this one actually, when I got it home, surpassed my not that I had expectations, but I was like, wow, this is a really nice sounding record. This is The Cat. So Tommy Flanagan, John Coltrane, Kenny Burrell, and Idris Sullivan. Really, really nice record. I've seen this locally a couple times. Once it was like a shop that showed it to me, but they were going to sell it online. And that same shop had it again. And I was like, can we listen to it? And then I ended up having to skip in it. So he's like, you know, I don't know what he ended up doing with it, but he, you know, didn't know that there was a skip on it. Anyway, so this is not a first pressing, but it is a new jazz. Purple Label just doesn't have the deep groove according to Discogs. This would be, originally I think it's a 58 record from 57, 58 around that time. But this would be from 1963. Makes me nervous buying new jazz stuff because of often recycled vinyl. Thankfully there was a listening station and I was at the fair and I was able to check it out and it sounded pretty good. And when I got it home, really, really happy with that one. So that was from Butch Dealer Records, shout out in Montpelier. Also grabbed this from him, something that had been on my radar. Looking forward to checking this out once I get it cleaned up. Expansion, Denny Zetland with George March and Mel Graves, I believe is the second pressing. It came out on another label. Promo copy, not for sale. This was actually the first, I did grab a record at that first little table that I went to, which was Gil Scott-Heron, Reflections, one of his later ones 1981 that I have never picked up. This, I need to clean this and see, but it didn't look so, I actually sampled this. There's some marks on it, it's dirty, but it was $3. I was like, okay, I mean, I'll take a shot on it for $3. And when I sampled it, it didn't sound bad at all. And then this I already had, but you don't see these too often. And I know there's getting more sought after, and I had just a little bit basically of money left. There was nothing else I really wanted, so I grabbed another copy of this Joe Henderson in Japan. I remember I used to see these all the time. It's not my second copy. Even I traded one to Tom. I used to see these all the time for 15, 20, but all the time. You know, I've probably seen 3, 4 of them. It was something where I was like, oh yeah, there's that record again. I haven't seen one in years, so. Joe Henderson in Japan on Milestone with 3 Japanese musicians who I'm not familiar with off the top of my head. Anyway, that's it for my 1 week off, 3 different road trips, DIGS. Pretty good, must say. I do have a little stack here of stuff I picked up basically June, July, August, September, so like 5 months of local finds as well. I'll share those in the next video. Peace.